What's up, my dudes? Got the new track editor in MXGP 2019. Wanted to take a little bit of a deeper dive into it. I think it's only fair to do that. Obviously, we kind of have an idea on what we're going to be getting. I want to talk about some of the potential possibilities, kind of go exactly on their little thing that they say on their website on the new track editor. Of course, we don't know like tons of information or anything like that, but from what we've gathered and what I kind of know is possible to a certain extent, I think I can get a pretty good idea on what we're probably going to end up seeing when it comes to that. So first of all, let me just get in here and kind of read this. Oh, by the way, thank God we're finally getting a track editor in the outdoor milestone, motocross game and not just on the supercross games. Pretty sure we were all expecting that on MXGP Pro, and as you guys seen, that didn't happen at all. So, okay, so what they say is, unleash your creativity. Bring to life the track of your dreams and share it with your friends in the motocross community, just like in the supercross games. Who will realize the track with the best motocross flow? Choose between 4 different landscapes and terrains and create your track amongst the mud of the forest, the dunes of the desert, the hills of the French Riviera, and the pearls of the Pacific area jungle. So quite a bit to take in here. Choose between 4 different landscapes and terrains. So this is getting kind of interesting, right? So basically what I've always said about having a like a track editor on one of these motocross games that can work on a console, not like a full-blown track editor. It's easy in a supercross game, right? Because you just have the stadium. It's like you basically place your pre-made pieces, and then that's it. There's really nothing else to it, and you're just within that box, But basically with a outdoor, it's a little bit more complicated when you start talking about an outdoor editor, because now it's like you've got elevation. Like, how the hell are you going to build elevation with pre-made pieces? That doesn't really work. Like, you're going to have either some kind of chopping down into the dirt and being able to raise up the dirt somehow, or something, or what this looks a little more like is you're going to be picking between pre-made sort of, instead of stadiums, you're going to be picking from pre-made outdoor areas, and I feel like some of them's going to have more, they say 4 different landscapes and terrain, so I would assume that would be like you could have a perfectly flat terrains like base to start from, or a more hill vibe terrain track to start from, or 4 different landscapes in the sense of like 4 different types of base terrain as far as elevation and stuff like that. I'm sure there's probably gonna be one that's got like some sort of canyon that goes downhill, and then one that's like more of an uphill vibe thing, and then more of a flat one. And then there's probably gonna be one that's like not super hardcore uphill or downhill, but somewhere in between, right? A little bit of elevation, a little bit of flat. That's what I would kind of assume. And terrains. So I would think landscapes and terrain. It's kind of hard to figure out exactly what they mean by that. I would assume with different terrains and different areas that they talk about, you would have different dirt compounds. That's just what I would expect. So if you want to make your custom track in the dunes of the desert, that's going to be like a totally different sand vibe than making your custom track in the mud of the forest. You know what I mean? Like they kind of talk. So it looks like they're going to have 4 or 5 different areas to build your custom track versus just having like one big flat area and then putting down either a mud dirt or a sand dirt or a standard dirt. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be more like very dependent on which base track thing that you pick is going to depict what kind of traction, dirt compound, elevation, that whole 9 yards. You're kind of going to pick that from the jump, it seems like. And from what it's looking like to me, it's making me kind of doubt that you're really going to be able to like place trees where you want to, and really place a lot of different objects, because you just imagine if you pick your track in the mud of the forest, right? I would doubt that you would be able to move trees around. I just feel like that would be more of a pre-made, like trees in a certain area, than you're just putting like pre-made jumps, corners in that area, right? But it's going to be really interesting to see how this all forms together with the elevation. So it's like, let's say you have some sort of pre-made like tabletop piece or some sort of pre-made double, right? And if you place that pre-made double on a flat surface, obviously it's just going to be like a double on a flat surface, but can you put that same pre-made double going up a hill on it, right? And so then you'd have like an uphill double. I don't know if it's going to go to that extent or if it's just going to be more like there are certain hills in certain areas and you can't actually build jumps on the elevation parts, just on the flat parts. That would be lame as shit because, you know, motocross is all about having uphill jumps, downhill. Really, my biggest hope, okay, is that they have enough ability to make like your own kind of ruts and your own kind of roughness and all of that, whereas we pretty much don't have hardly any of that in the Supercross track editors. I think that's a massive thing that's missing from that. Really, really hope they give us the ability to do that because that's really the whole skill to motocross. That's like the whole point of a motocross track. You know, you need like inside ruts, and I hope they are smart enough to put that in there because that's really what's going to separate tracks and stuff, right? I mean, jumps will do it to a certain extent, but you don't want it to just feel like a Supercross track outdoors in a motocross area. You know what I mean? But the cool thing about that is you still can go in there and make that. Like, I still think they need to have Supercross-esque type objects, type pre-made pieces in there, right? To where you can still go in there and just make a Supercross track if you wanted to in this MXGP 2019 Milestone Motocross game, right? So we can make our own Supercross tracks in the motocross game and vice versa. You should be able to make motocross tracks in the Supercross game. That way you're getting all of that variation of both different kind of tracks and you're getting hybrid design tracks and the whole 9 yards, right? It would be badass if they had like where you could put log sections down in the muddy forest or whatever and put like, I don't know, something cool on the dune area. I just have no idea, guys. We don't really have that much information on it to really know to that extent. But I know a lot of times these Milestone games, I'm not just saying this because a lot of you guys think I'm a Milestone hater. I'm not just saying this to be like going at them, but there's a lot of times where they will come out with something that seems like it could be really amazing and really like full-blown badass and whatnot, but when you actually get it in your hands, you realize pretty quickly the limitations of it, and a lot of times it just doesn't stack up. It doesn't live up to what the hype train of it might have seemed like it was going to be from the beginning, right? Like, I mean, good God, the second track editor for Supercross 2, the official video game, I thought they were going to go all out on that motherfucker. I thought it was going to be, they were saying like, you guys remember this, right? Something wrong with their memory. You remember when they were like, brand new track editor with all these new pieces and you guys are really going to love it, really be able to make unique stuff. All the stuff they were saying about Supercross 2's track editor, and really all there was like 6 new track pieces, pre-made pieces, and you could make your own start. That was pretty much it. There was not a whole lot in that new track editor. So you see how they can kind of fool you a little bit with their wordings and that kind of getting you hyped up when it's not really what what they're portraying it to be, and they're making your brain kind of race when in reality it was never going to be to that extent anyways. So I'm over here thinking, oh dude, they might be able to have where you can put logs where you want to and put trees where you want to and build all this elevation where you want to and all these ruts and roughness. But I mean, I hate to say it, odds are it's probably going to be just more like you can't build up, elevation. You can only build on the flat surfaces, and it's like kind of, just limited in areas, kind of what I'm getting at. But I don't know yet. I can't say that for sure. And then basically, like, I would think it would only be what I'm kind of getting that suspicion of, just knowing Milestone. I feel like they're not going to put in, like, braking bump pieces and acceleration bump pieces and ruts going up jump face pieces and rut in corner, inside rut through corner pieces and kicker on a jump pieces. All these things we expect on motocross tracks. I just don't feel like it would really be like that. I think it's going to be just more of a flat track, and then they're going to kind of like basically how you make a track on the Supercross 2's track editor, and it's just going to kind of be like that, but in an outdoor on a motocross track. I mean, really, that's what I feel like it's going to be. So I don't know. Just be careful with how you get hyped about some of this stuff, guys. That's all I'm saying, because a lot of times it's not always as they seem to make it out to be, right? So just be careful with the hype. I know it can kind of be like, woo, this is going to be crazy, but a lot of times it doesn't really stack up. So, but that's cool to see the, basically the dunes of the desert, hills of the French Riviera. So yeah, basically building a track in the hills, they pretty much say that. So, but we don't know what that actually means on what you can actually do on it, right? I really think you're going to be able to make a custom track with some kind of elevation. Obviously it says in the hills, like I'm not retarded. You're going to be able to make a track with elevation, but I don't think it's going to be like building your own elevation. You know what I mean? It's going to be like building on top of pre-made elevation to a certain extent in some kind of way, more so like that, right? See what I'm saying? So it's kind of different like that, but either way, guys, I just want to come here and kind of talk about it a little bit. I'm sure we'll get some updates, get some more stuff going on this MXGP 2019. I'll be able to come in here and make some more little updatey style videos on it stuff. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think about the new track editor and what you want to see in it and stuff like that. I want to see stuff like, you know, time of day changes, lighting effect changes, fog effect adjustments, all these things to kind of change your track, make it a little bit different than somebody else's. They need more of those little things. It's actually like a slider, you know what I mean? Like sun position slider, where it's like literally 100 different positions you could have the sun, obviously changing it very, very small, like a, you know, 0 to 100% kind of changing where the sun is, and then like, you know, just different fog levels and stuff to really kind of give it your own flair and your own style. That's been one of the biggest issues I've found with these milestone track editors, is everybody's track looks the same. And a lot of times they feel the same because there's not even enough different like object pieces, and everything's pre-made. So it's so, and then not really being able to adjust the environment or the sky box or, you know, anything like that. It really limits what you can do, and as far as like being unique and being able to separate your tracks. So I hope they can really improve on a lot of that as well. But either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.